Well, hello, YouTube. Hello, Royal Gang. How are we today? I know it's been a while. We haven't done a life update in a minute, so make sure y'all stay tuned.
Focus on me. Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus?
All right, so we got a lot to get through this evening, okay? I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible, but we do have some stuff to cover, okay? Because it is now 2024, y'all. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So y'all know I went on my cruise, my annual birthday cruise, December 9th, 2023. So my cruise went amazing. I had an amazing time. I know I told y'all briefly in part 4, the weather was rocky, but overall a great trip. After that, of course we had Christmas. So Christmas was definitely interesting. I'll say the Friday before Christmas. Okay, are y'all listening? Well, let me backtrack just a little bit. So y'all know Jaden has been here with me since August, right? So he's been here. Y'all know I've been in a relationship since February, right? Okay, we did a life update almost a year ago about my relationship. So my relationship has been kind of up and down. We've had a couple of little issues, hiccups, normal relationship stuff, right? So Jaden has been, he's a teenager, y'all. He just turned 17 in November. He's done a couple of crazy things that I don't agree with. I'm sure most parents wouldn't agree with. But the Friday before Christmas, well, no, I'm sorry. While I was on my cruise, Jaden was in the house by himself. Kinley was with my mom. So Jaden wasn't monitored by anybody. He was here by himself. But I had internet, so I was able to check on him while I was gone. So one of the days that I had called to check on him, he was like, oh, I'm with Uncle Cam, which is my brother, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. We get back from the cruise. So let's fast forward. We get back from the cruise. The Friday before Christmas, I'm laying in the bed watching TV. My boyfriend goes downstairs to get something to drink or smoke a cigarette or whatever it was. He comes back upstairs. He has a gun in his hand and he said, so your son is downstairs asleep on the couch with a loaded gun in his lap? So I immediately say, what? A gun? I'm looking at him like unloaded, all that, right? I go downstairs. I wake Jaden up like, hey, what are you doing with a gun? So he gives us all these random stories about where he got it from, what he was going to do with it, blah, 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 blah. It didn't matter. At the end of the day, why do you have a gun? So I text my brother because, my brother, he's a level 4 armed security guard. He works with athletes, clients, athletes, musicians, artists, things like that. So he's well versed in like guns and things like that. So I text him. So I text him and I tell him, hey, your nephew has a gun over here. His sister's upstairs still awake. She could have come downstairs and hurt herself, hurt him. Anything could have happened, right? And us not knowing that he had this gun. So Jaden immediately freaks out. Starts having a whole temper tantrum saying that he wants the gun back, starts packing his stuff, leaves out of the house. I'm trying to get him to come back in the house. He packs all his stuff. He's gone. He comes back the next morning, goes back in his room, goes to sleep. I'm thinking he's, cleared his mind, understands that, hey, I'm not getting this gun back. This could have been a worse situation, right? But no, that's not what happened. So that Saturday morning, I had to work, right? So I'm already downstairs at my desk working. I come upstairs to use the restroom or whatever a couple times. I come back out. I'm working again. My boyfriend comes downstairs. Hey, did you leave the bedroom door open? I said, no, because I know you were still asleep. I didn't think anything of it. Come to find out, Jaden had woke up, came in my room, said some things under his breath while he was in my bathroom about how he was going to get the gun back. It woke my boyfriend up. They get to arguing back and forth about, you're not getting this gun back. You should be glad that there's not, super consequences for the fact that you even had a weapon on you and we don't know where it came from. Why would we give you a gun back? So they commenced arguing back and forth about this gun. The next thing I know, They're talking about fighting. So I'm like, what are y'all doing? I'm working. What are y'all doing? So Jaden says, yeah, fuck it. We can fight. Excuse my language. He goes and changes clothes, laces up his tennis shoes, puts some little basketball shorts on, follows my boyfriend outside to start fighting. And I'm trying to like tell him, do y'all really want to do this? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? They get into a whole little tussle in the backyard. I have to run outside, break them up, split them up. Turns into a whole ordeal, right? So I separate them, try to get everybody to calm down. Boyfriend leaves to calm his nerves. Jaden is freaking out because he feels like he's just so injured, right? So he ends up calling an ambulance to come look at him. They tell him, I mean, there's nothing there's nothing wrong that we can see. If you want to if you want us to take you to the emergency room to get checked out, we can. Or y'all can go to urgent care. So I'm like, cool, we'll take him to urgent care. They ask what happened. I explain the situation of what transpired. Ambulance leaves. My brother calls me in the meantime after the ambulance leaves, and he's like, hey, I think the gun that Jaden has is my gun. So apparently while Jaden was at my brother's house while I was on the cruise, he stole it from my brother's apartment. Okay, like I told y'all before, my brother's a security guard. He's licensed to carry. He has several guns. Like apparently one was out. My brother lives alone, so he normally doesn't have anybody there with him, so he probably didn't think to lock it up like he should have. So Jaden took it. He didn't realize it was gone until I mentioned it to him the night before. So he's like, I'm on the way over there because I'm pissed off. I'm about to come talk to Jaden. So my brother pulls up, right? Okay, y'all, so my brother shows up, and then my other brother shows up. Then the police show up. Police are investigating, the situation about the gun. My brother almost goes to jail for child endangerment for having this gun available to a minor. Now they're talking about pressing charges against my boyfriend. My boyfriend is not here, but I'm in the middle of all these conversations and witness statements and all this. But in the meantime, y'all, remember, I'm working. So I have to keep getting on and off the phone to, facilitate whatever the police are asking. Okay. So Jaden goes with my brother to my mom's house to separate for the night. And that's the day before Christmas Eve. So we go through Christmas. Jaden isn't here. Jaden comes back Tuesday morning, I believe. I believe it was Tuesday morning, the day after Christmas. He comes back. He gets dropped off Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, we get a phone call from a bail bondsman that my boyfriend has felony charges for assault on a family member and that they're wanting to help him with a pre-arrest bond or whatever. So now he's upset all over again, and now Jaden's back. So it turns into a whole thing. Then not only does that happen, then a couple of hours later, I get a phone call from CPS. So now this lady's coming over to my house to find out all this information and be, just a whole ordeal over a stupid choice, right? So we have to go through all this explanation. So after all that's said and done and this lady leaves, I take Jaden back to my mom's because everybody's upset in the house again because it's just riled everything up all over again, right? So I'm thinking I'm doing a good thing by keeping them separated from each other. So I get back to the house from dropping Jaden off. I've blocked all of my family members because it's created too much drama at this point. I'm getting text messages, unnecessary things. Nobody's focusing on the fact that a minor had a fucking gun. Excuse my language again. Nobody's focusing on that, right? Everybody's just focusing on the fight that they both agreed to do, right? So we get back to the house. I've blocked my mom, both of my brothers. I'm not talking to nobody because everybody's stressing me out at this point over their bad decisions, right? So then we're in the bed, excuse me, and my boyfriend gets a random phone call that's like, hey, are you still at the house? Bet, we on the way. So obviously it's one of my brothers. So I call the police and I'm like, hey, my brothers are threatening to come over here and fight with my boyfriend, and I'm trying to prevent the situation. I don't want that transpiring at my house. So police show up. My brothers are nowhere to be seen. So the police stay for like 5 minutes and then they leave. My boyfriend decides he wants to go get something to drink from the corner store. He leaves out of the house. Not 5 minutes after he leaves, I get a phone call. So I get the phone call. He's like, I think your brothers are chasing me. So they're both in two separate vehicles and they're chasing him up and down the streets. Okay? I call the police again. No. I didn't call the police again. He happens to see an officer parked in a parking lot. He flags the officer down. He's like, hey, they're chasing me. So the police officer follows him home, and my brothers are following behind the police officer. Okay? This is the crazy crap that I've been dealing with in 2024. Okay? So my boyfriend pulls into the driveway, hops out. My brothers stop in the street behind the cop. Everybody hops out. I'm standing outside because I'm on the phone with him the whole time that he's being chased. And the cop, comes over and he's like, hey, what's going on? So I'm like, I just got off the phone. So the police just left. So I'm explaining the situation. Now they're arguing with each other in my driveway while I'm talking to the officer. Okay? He's trying to figure out what's going on. Now, my brothers act like they want to fight each other. My brothers act like they want to fight my boyfriend in the driveway. One of my brothers goes and gets brass knuckles, a can of bear spray, and they're like acting like they're going to hit each other in my driveway. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to stay out of it. Police officer's just as confused, but he's not stopping them from trying to fight. So the brother that had the bear spray, he sprays my boyfriend while I'm standing like by the house. That's bear spray is strong as hell, y'all. Okay? I started choking. Okay? So now the police wants to know everybody's information, right? So my brothers are like egging on the situation that he should have a warrant for the situation that happened with Jaden. So the cop looks up the information, arrests my boyfriend. My brothers leave. Boyfriend has been locked up since, the Wednesday after Christmas? It's now January the 13th. So he's been locked up for like over 2 weeks, right? So he has that felony charge. We end up getting that charge dismissed because of the situation. I talked to the DA. Jaden talks to the DA. He understands that he made a poor decision. So the charges are dropped. But my boyfriend is on parole. So by him catching any type of new charges, it automatically flags as parole and you're put up to have your parole revoked. Okay? So that brings us current. So now we're waiting on parole. Now we're waiting to see if parole is going to reinstate his supervision or if they're going to place him back into custody. We don't know yet. And the process can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. So it's a waiting game now. So yeah, that's what's been happening, y'all. My life has been a little cray-cray. It's been a little cray-cray. I'm not talking to my family. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with drama right now. I've been trying to stay as peaceful as possible. I work too much. I'm working 2 work from home jobs right now. I work 7 days a week, no breaks, okay? All gas, no breaks, okay? So I don't have time for that. I don't want to be in the middle of all the drama. I'm just not going to deal with it. Not in 2024. So that's the latest, Royal Gang. That's what I've been doing. Working, stressing. That's about it. Hopefully the next few weeks bring great news and I'll keep y'all updated. But for now, deuces.